Hello guys, Tengu here, and we're back with some more Doll's Nest post-game builds. So before we begin, I would like to remind you guys to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell, and remember to leave a comment in the comment section down below if you have any questions or concerns with this build. So without further ado, let's go ahead and begin this build. So this build was sent in by, or rather recommended by one of our subscribers here. He suggested that I decide to mount two Gandvolcs together and use what I believe to be the front plate of the Gandvolcs as the hanger modules, which I do have mounted here. So yes, this is your requested build. So let's go ahead and get into the nitty-gritty of this. The first off, we have the Bradmund as our mobility module, the Bradmund as our headset module, the Gogol as our hanger module, the Gogol as our thruster module, the Varchis as our utility module, Rukloff as our primary arms 1, the Yolgant as our primary arms 2, and for our rear arms, the Gandvolcs on both of them. So we're here at the wire treatment plant. So, yeah, as mentioned before, this build was requested by one of our viewers here. I believe it goes by Big Dave. So thank you to Big Dave for suggesting this build. So he suggested that I decide, or that I should run with two Gandvolcs and the Googles as our front hanger. That's pretty much all I had to go with, so I decided to go with that. As for the rest, I kind of just worked with what I could work with. So yeah, so one shout out to Big Dave for suggesting this build, and I hope you enjoy this build. Even though this build is a tad bit tricky to play around with a little bit, but it's still somewhat functional. So if you're wondering why I'm running the Rukloff, it's mostly for the lock-on speed. If you're wondering where to get the Rukloff, if you're doing, or if you haven't actually given Talking Head a body yet, be sure to like go over there and give her a body. Actually, no, I might as well just go ahead and go over there just to show you. And while I'm doing so, I might as well explain how you would use this build. So dealing with the Rukloff, you want to actually use this to actually lock onto your opponent as quickly as possible. Thankfully, the Rukloff has like an aim rate of 0. Very weak damage, but you don't really use it for damage. You just use it for the lock-on. Yeah, the idea is you want to lock onto an enemy and then deploy your Gandvolc in order to use your weapon, or your main weapons. But before you do that, you kind of want to wait for your enemy to stop attacking you, then use the Gandvolcs, or to deal damage with them. And by the way, if you're wondering why we're running the Bradmund, it's mostly just for the defense, because yeah, this build is gonna be taking quite a bit of hits of itself while you're using the miniguns. The miniguns themselves are pretty strong, but at the same time, you're gonna be held still on the account that the two Gandvolcs are actually trebuchet cannons, and if you know anything about trebuchet cannons, they tend to hold still quite some time. And you may be wondering why I have the Yolgants with me. Well, I decided to give myself the Yolgants because, well, I'm running two miniguns, why not run a third one? Why not? Plus, the Yolgants kind of comes in handy, just in case you need to shoot on the move. As such. Just in case you need to take evasive maneuvers. And by the way, if you haven't given Talking Head a buy yet, I do recommend going down this path. And giving Talking Head this body. Doing so will actually give you the Rukloff, which is actually a pretty nice weapon if you plan on just using back weapons. Kind of like this build. Just like with like any other build that focuses on real arms, you are going to need the, or you do want to actually focus on using the Varchis as much as possible. Solely because this build eats up quite a bit of ammo. And also with the Gandvolcs, you want to make sure you're close up to the enemy, because as you can see, I did very little damage from afar, but once I get up close, I should do quite a bit more damage, as you can see. And I'm short-circuited. As you can see, this is the weakness with trebuchet cannon builds. They tend to be very vulnerable when you're shooting. With the rear weapons, that is. Not so much with other rear arm types, but yeah, with this one, yeah, you have limitations about what you can do. Ideally, with this build, you kind of want to wait for your enemy to attack first until they go into overheat, then attack. So let me demonstrate with this enemy. To give you an idea, I'll let you get his attention. So ideally, you want to wait for your enemy to finish attacking. Make sure you're up close to him while you're doing this. Then once they're busy trying to reload themselves, just shoot at them. It's essentially how you want to engage enemies in with this build. Not exactly as ideal as, say, running a traditional trebuchet cannon build, but you can get it to work. Although, granted, you might have trouble using this build against bosses and what have you, solely because of the fact that this build is kinda slow. Not just because of the trebuchet cannons, but also because of the treasure running. The problem with it is it's quite as fast. It's very defensive, but not quite as fast. Yeah, being at this distance should be ideal for engaging enemies, but be careful when you're fighting at this distance because they can hit you pretty easily from there. And again, you can't really move too much. And by the way, have you noticed that I'm like close to losing half of my BP? Not just because of my yellow Gans, but also because of the Gandvolcs. The Gandvolcs eat up quite a bit of BP, but they're quite powerful if you know how to use them. So again, idea when it comes to fighting against enemies is basically, yeah, try to make sure they're not attacking you, then attack them. So wait for this enemy to stop attacking, then engage them. The whole reason why you want to do this is because it takes a long time for the Gandvolcs to deploy. Which is, on one hand, kind of a shame, but on the other hand, it's mostly because of the movement system in this game. If anything, I kind of wish you could actually move and shoot with the trebuchet cannons when you're using certain legs, like say tank treads. And you know what? While we're here, we might as well just fight this guy. But yeah, apart from this kind of quirky build, it's still kind of a fun build to play around with. I have a fun build. Like, it's a very expensive build. I actually don't recommend new players to try this out for themselves. In fact, it might be a bit impossible to do that because you're going to need 2 Gandvolcs in order to make this work. But at the same time, yeah, it's kind of nice to actually try out something new. So again, thanks to Big Dave for actually suggesting this build. If anything, it's yeah, a bit of a quirky build, but it's still functional as long as you know what you're doing. Although granted, as I said before, you might have some limitations with this build, particularly against certain bosses, like say the unidentified frame. I actually tried to use Gandvolcs against that boss before, and quite frankly, I almost died to that boss. But then again, you're not really supposed to use trebuchet cannons up close against the unidentified frame. If anything, that's kind of difficult to do because the unidentified frame tends to be a bit nimble compared to, well, just trebuchet cannon builds. But I digress. Well, regardless, I think that's all I have to show to you. So yeah, again, thanks to Big Dave for actually suggesting this build. So yeah, if you guys enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell, and feel free to leave a comment in the comment section down below if you have any questions or concerns about builds, or if you want to actually chime in with any builds you want me to show off. Again, this is a viewer requested build, and I'm willing to take on any other viewer requested builds you guys suggest. So yeah, if you have any builds you want me to show off or make note of, do let me know. So without further ado, this is going to be Tengu signing off. Bye!